Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Techify Zone. In this tutorial number 19, we are going to cover up some advanced topics of TestNG. In the last session, in tutorial number 18, we covered up the introduction of TestNG, how we can set up TestNG framework with the Selenium, okay, and a basic introduction with the basic coding, how we can use @test annotations or @before test or before method annotations like that. But in today's tutorial, we'll be more focusing on grouping, depends on, parallel testing, custom reporting, handling test failures using the listeners, integration with build tools as well. So that even if you are integrating with any of the CI/CD tool like Jenkins, Azure DevOps, then how you can exactly run your TestNG framework over there. Okay. So today we'll be more focusing on the first three part, and if time persists, then we'll focus on these three as well. Let's directly jump into the coding part without wasting any time. Let's go. Okay, this is the last one which we covered. This was the very basic code which we created last time, and today we are going to improvise it. Okay, now before doing that, let us do one thing. Let's create a before test. Okay, before test, and this is how I'm going to give you the examples as well, how exactly it works. Let me create a public void setup, and in this what we can do is we can set up our driver. We can initialize our driver, okay, like this. Or else first let me give a global reference to it. Web driver semicolon, let me call it. Okay, now let me do the declaration initialization part here. New Chrome driver. Okay, see, we are doing the new Chrome driver. So technically before test it will be uh, creating a reference to that particular driver. It will be launching a new Chrome driver, and I want to launch any website. Suppose driver dot get. Let me go ahead with google.com. Okay, let me give this one as well. Okay, so technically it will launch google.com for us, and also just do one thing. We initialize the weights as well. Driver.manage dot timeout. Sorry, dot visit weight duration. Yeah, duration can be seconds, comma 30 over. Okay, so technically we have done our initialization part. In the same manner, let's do the once everything is done, what happens? Do after test public void, or I will say demolish. Okay, now driver dot quit, so that whenever we are done with our job, we are quitting the driver, we are releasing its memory space from the backend as well. Okay, so our first part which we are going to learn in this tutorial is, let's start, though we were going to start with grouping, but let's start with depends on. Okay, so let me erase any of it first so that I can explain you in a very simple way. Okay, and just a minute, reset a bit. Yep. So priority you already know that if I'm giving any method a priority, which means it's going to run in a order which I'm providing. Like if priority is 1, it will run first. Priority is 2, it will run second. Priority is 3, it will run third. So let us do one thing. Let us first of all, technically, let us go to google.com and capture any of it, anything like this. Over here, this is a text area which has a title as search. Okay, name as Q. Got it. Driver dot find by dot name is Q dot send keys by zone YouTube. Now driver dot gain find elements. Now let me do one thing. Instead, once I'm done with the writing, let me create another test, which is on the priority 2. Public void and submit test text. Okay, then same line till here, copy it down, dot submit. Okay, so technically my tests, what exactly it is doing is it's launching the Chrome browser. It's going to the google.com. It's going to enter this particular text. And the second one, it's going to hit the enter. And once it's done, it's going to quit. Okay. Or let me showcase you before quitting, at least something. 3-second wait. Let's throws an exception. Yeah. Now, this will work. For sure, this will work. Even if I hit it, this will work right like this. See, TestNG version over here. It's going to launch the browser for you. And then it's going to go to google.com. Let's wait for a second. Yeah. See, it's google.com. Techify is on YouTube. Waited for 3 seconds. It's going to demolish it. See, before that, before test, it worked. After test as well, it worked because it quit. Right? You can see the reporting as well. You can see the total run of test as well. You can see everything. Right? Now, let's change it. By changing, I mean let's use the depends on. Okay? So depends on me. If I see like this, depends on group. I don't want to on group. Depends on method. Okay. Now I want to write down the method name. Method 2. Okay. So which means if this method is successful, then only this will go. Okay. Otherwise it will not. But what happens if we actually don't write this and do like that? Suppose this is having Q1. Okay, which is an incorrect, for sure the name is incorrect, right? Then what will happen if I'm not writing this? Let's check that out and then we'll write it. Okay, and I will create another method as well for test method, and let's give its priority as 3, and it's a very basic method. Let me write down public void print. Okay, and let us do a simple print statement in test 3. Okay, let us execute it first and then we'll see the output. I have given an invalid locator. Okay, now see, it's technically it's finding up the locator, and let's see if it's able to find or not. It's gonna wait till 30 seconds. Implicit wait is 30 seconds. So you need to wait with me for 30 seconds. Let me maximize it for you. It's not able to find it because there is nothing as Q1. See, test run 3, failure 1, skip 0, which means that it executed my print statement. Right, in test 3, passed submit text, passed print, failed method 2, which means it's actually moving forward with that. Even if my test, this is a kind of a prerequisite for my this one. If this test is failing, this should also not go into the execution, but it's going. That's where we use depends on method, which means that I can write the method name as method 2. because its name is method 2. Okay. Now, if this is failing, and let me reduce the timer as well. Let me reduce it to 5 seconds. Now what? Now let us see what exactly happens. Okay. Wait for 5 seconds. It executes. See, failure 1, skip 1. Previously it was skip 0. Now why it skipped it? Because this method was depending on this method. If this method is failing, then technically it will not run, right? So just imagine, there is also depends on groups, right? Just imagine if you are running, there is a deployment in your code. Okay, first technically what we go ahead with, smoke testing, right? So if your smoke is failing, is there any fun of running your regression? No, right? So technically, if I use depends on groups, and if there is a failure in smoke, my regression will not run. Okay, my regression will not run because there is no fun. It's a complete time waste if I'm running a regression. Even there is a large failure in smoke, so technically my regression is also going to fail, right? So that's how we use depends on groups as well. I will show you how the grouping works. I hope this is clear and we don't have any concern in this, right? Okay, let's go. Now the second point is grouping. Okay. Now, if I do like this, groups is equal to, let me go ahead with smoke, like this. Let me go ahead with this one as well. Groups is equal to smoke. Okay. But in the third one, I'm not writing smoke. Let me write it as groups is equal to regression. Just anything. Okay. Now, how it will work? It will not work directly if you play it from here, because this is a grouping. For this, you need a TestNG XML file, because it doesn't mean that you have created one particular file over here and it will run that. Which means, suppose, let me do one thing, TestNG. Let me create one another file. Let me first copy it down. Instead of creating, let me copy it down. Okay. Intro 2, yeah, go ahead with it. And let me do one thing. Instead of before test, let me make it as priority 4, priority 5, and remove the before test over here and after test over here as well. And this smoke, this one's okay. And instead of doing this, let me do a simple print statement over here. In test2 file and priority 4. Okay. Let me do the printing for the same again with bottom as well. In test2 file with the priority is 5. Okay. Now my group is smoke again. Okay. Now I will remove this one too. And there must be some, let it be. Okay. Next. That's it. Okay. Now let us create a TestNG XML file. You won't be having a TestNG XML file. You need to create it. Just do one thing. Right click on it, new, and create it. Okay. Just a minute. Turn on this one. Okay. You just need to create a file. Okay. So once you are done with the file creation, then you will be just name it as testng.xml. Okay. Once you name it as XML, it will create like this. Okay. Okay. So once you are done with the TestNG XML creation, it will be a blank file, guys. It will be a completely blank file. So what you need to do is, it's not a very hard rule to write it. You can even Google it. Okay, you can even type it on Google, and it will give you a format for TestNG XML file. Okay, even if you are playing with the groups, you can write down a grouping technique in TestNG XML. It will give you the syntax. Everything you can copy it down. You don't have to worry about it. Just the syntax, very simple. You need to write a suit name, you need to write a test name, you need to write the group. Okay, group is a tag over here. Then run. Which particular group you need to write? Include it. Even if I have any other groups, suppose exclude, and I don't want to run it. I don't want to run the regression. I will put it in exclude tag. Okay. And then once your group tag is closed, you need to define which particular class you want to run. Okay. So right now I have TestNG intro, but I have also created another class TestNG intro 2. So let me write that. Okay. So if I execute it from here, what it will do is it will actually in TestNG 2 file priority 4, priority 5. And let me check why it was not able to run that file. Just a minute. Okay, maybe that is, I need to run it from here. Yep. Run as TestNG suite. Okay, same. Method 2, null pointer exception I'm getting. Over here as a submit text as a throwable exception. And TestNG intro 2 is working. Okay, null pointer exception, why we are getting that? Cannot invoke. Just let me enlarge it first. Okay, 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 okay. Let us see. Okay, okay. It should be also part. Okay, start. Now let us run. We missed that part because we need to before test should be also part of your that particular group. Okay, once we have done executed that, then it should have executed it also. Okay, so method 1 was executed and we okay, 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 okay. So let me go ahead back. Groups smoke, groups smoke. Okay, okay. So anyhow, to initialize it. Okay. So what happened is it actually was depending on this particular method. So technically this method got failed. Okay. And the failure reason which it's showing is over here, no such element found, unable to locate the elements because it was not able to trigger it properly. Okay. So again, it waited for 5 seconds and I need to correct it, which I missed in the last one. Now let's go back to it, then run it. Okay. Techify zone, YouTube. It ran and it's done. Okay. Why this was not able to close the browser, though we have after test, right? Because we haven't specified the group in the after test. We need to specify smoke as in the after test as well. So once we run it again, then it will close the browser too. It's done. It will close the browser. Now everything worked fine. How it worked? Now you can see everything is pass. We have 4 run, 4 pass, and 0 failure and 0 skip. So that's how you can run it in the way you want. Okay, you just need to no matter how many files you have, no matter how many classes you have, you can even like specify the class name. You can even now we have one regression, right? In both of the classes we have one method as a regression. Let me exclude this. Okay, let me exclude this one and let me include this instead of. Okay, now let's see what happens. See, print statement in test 3 there was only one method with the regression tag. Okay, that's how it passed. So now you are getting the concept of grouping in TestNG. That's how you can create a smoke suit, sanity suit, regression suit, and also you can group your complete scenario because we don't design in automation testing a scenario, end-to-end scenario in just one method. We have multiple methods, right? We need to group them together in a sequential order, in a proper order, so that one method's output can be becoming the another method's input or a prerequisite, and then it moves ahead, right? So that's how we use the grouping technique over here. Now, this next point is how exactly we can go ahead and use the parallel approach. Now I have two different files, right? Two different files, okay, over here. But I want to go ahead with the parallel approach. Now let me do one thing. let me copy this whole file and let me paste it over here. Okay, with TestNG interest. Okay, so technically, I'm going to run this whole thing again, but parallelly. Okay, but parallel in a parallel approach in the using the edge driver. Okay, I'm going to trigger it with the edge driver. Let's see. One with the Chrome driver, one with the edge driver in the parallel mode. So it can go ahead with the multi browser mode as well, like with the different browsers, testing the same thing again and again. And again, it can be going with the your parallel testing as well. So two things on the same node. Okay. So I will go ahead with the suite name space as sorry parallel, and in this you can write down your methods. Okay, and then you can go ahead with the thread invocation. Thread count can be five threads at a time, right? Your test name, your classes, and that's how you specify it, like how many classes you want to run. Suppose let me remove this one. Okay, and do a control S, save it, and see. Let's see what happens. One is your Chrome browser, which opened up. Another one is your Edge browser, which also opened up. Same, both are doing. Okay, same, both were doing and closed. Technically, my TestNG print method to submit text, print method to submit text, everything worked. Okay. Now there is a question. Now question says like in this print's method was having a priority 3, method 2 was having priority 1, and submit text was having a priority 2. Then why it is coming? Print method is coming on the top, because this reporting actually don't use the priority order. Reporting go ahead with the your number of seconds. See, 0.007 seconds, 0.195 seconds, 3.186 seconds, which means that as per your performance, it's using this order. Okay, in the reporting, you will see that order. Okay, now till date, I have executed a lot of things parallelly, group with grouping, with depends on. But do you have any? Because this is a very common question, which I also asked multiple times in the first round, in a basic round interview, that if you are working with a TestNG and you have a regression suite of 1,000 test cases, okay, you write down, you have even set it up with the Jenkins, or you are triggering it overnight on your machine only. Okay, next day in the morning, you saw that 10% of the test cases, which means 100 of the test cases, got failed. Now, instead of diagnosing which particular test case got failed, why it failed, you know that it can be a performance issue, because 100 of the test cases can't be failed because of any bug or something. There can be a chances like 10, 15 test cases might have failed because of bug, but rest 90 or 85 test cases have been failed because of performance issue. So, how you rectify it? Do you want to diagnose it again and check? It will waste a lot of time, right? So, what we can do is we have a test output folder over here. Okay, and we have a generated failed.xml, testng failed.xml. If you right click, run as testng, it will run all the failed cases for you automatically. You don't even have to worry, you don't even have to enable it, disable it. Whatever was failed last time, it will keep a track of it. It usually keep a track of it, whatever was failed the last time. Okay, keeps a track of it. It auto create this file again and again with the latest run, and then it will run accordingly. See, it's going to run all my last failures. Like you remember in the few 2 or 3 executions back, I had some failures, right? So these failures are executed automatically. So that's how you actually run your failed test without even worrying, without even diagnosing, and without even digging into your failed reports. Okay. And this is how you reduce the fail count. Okay. So that was a tip for the today. And in the next session, we are going to talk about our leftover topics, which are custom reporting, which means I'm going to use extend reports. Okay. And maybe that can be a case that extend report is a very last topic. So I might occupy the next complete session in the custom reporting only. And then we'll be talking about the handling test failures. Handling test failures means I'm going to use the retry listeners. Okay. Which means that I'm going to create a failure scenario handling mechanism. Okay. Where I'm going to create a retry block, which whenever it's failed, it's going to retry automatically so that the failure count get decrease at the end. Okay. Then at last, I'm going to talk about how you can integrate your TestNG Maven project with the Jenkins and how this TestNG will help you out with the integration, like Maven integration will help you out with the execution over Jenkins. Okay. I'm going to talk about that too. So let's meet up in the next session. Stay tuned. There are a lot of things which I have planned for you, which I have in my plate that I'm going to explain you with respect to my experience, overall experience in the IT industry and as a SDET. And I'm going to cover up a lot of more topics for you. So stay tuned. And if you have still not subscribed the channel, do subscribe it, hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any of the weekly updates or daily updates which are sharing. And keep coding, keep automating, and have a healthy life. Thank you guys. Bye.